Hey, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. Za'Darius Smith, Minnesota Vikings. There was always rumors during the draft. Za'Darius wanted out. The Vikings did not say anything. They didn't want to tip their hat. They didn't want to do it. But post-draft, they looked at their roster, and they realized, you know what? If he doesn't want to be here, we might as well get something for it. So we'll talk about that next, coming up on the Ron Johnson Show.
Locked On Sports Minnesota podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. Now the Ron Johnson Show. On the field, in the broadcast booth, Ron Johnson is Minnesota sports. He's played with them, hung out with them, and grown up with all the big names in Minnesota sports. They're hanging out with Ron Johnson. It's the Ron Johnson Show on the Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast. And it starts now.
Hey everyone, it's Ron Johnson. This is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. I want you guys to know this episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Just make every moment more by visiting FanDuel.com/Locked On to get started today. And I did it this weekend. I'll talk to Sam a little bit about that. I was able to go to Iowa for my daughter's softball tournament. So I actually got a chance because I know in Minnesota right now, we can't use the app, but we can when you travel. And so I went to Iowa and I had a blast. I'm talking about $10, people. $10 made me want to watch an entire hockey game and keep track of who was winning and losing. Got some bad information though. Horrible information from one of the parents, because of course I'm not a bit. I should have reached out to Sam, and we'll talk about that. But just visit FanDuel.com/Locked On to get started today. But Sam, big trade happened over the weekend. Everybody driving wherever you were going, having fun, barbecues in the rain in Minnesota. I heard we weren't here, so we missed that. Za'Darius Smith was traded from the Minnesota Vikings to the Cleveland Browns for a bunch of 5th-round picks. And in my opinion, I'm like, I thought it was going to be worth more, but I get the injury in the back, has missed some seasons, missed some games due to injury. Even last season with the Vikings, did come back off injury, but then was still playing injured for a lot of the season. And I looked at like some Cleveland tweets, and Cleveland actually is like celebrating a little bit. And that's certain people. Some people are like, oh my God, I can't believe we did this. This is stupid. But there are some Cleveland people saying, you know what, we didn't even give up a lot for him. And, if he has even a semblance of 3 years ago with the Packers, it actually the start of the Viking season, we have a good pass rusher for this team, and Deshaun Watson's going to get to start the whole season off. So Browns fans are kind of happy. Viking fans are like, a bunch of 5th-round picks, that's it? I don't know if you could have got much more, Sam, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's incredibly disappointing to lose a Pro Bowl caliber pass rusher for very little. I mean, you get 2 5th-round picks, and I think they had to give up a 6th and a 7th as well to kind of make that trade even a little more even. And it sounds like they're taking on some of his salary. They're not even getting rid of the whole salary.
Right.
It's just unfortunate that they signed him to a pretty fair deal last offseason when he was coming off kind of a missed year. And then he kind of blows up, right, for half the season, was really one of the best in the NFL. And then they apparently kind of hit a roadblock in contract negotiations. He wanted, I assume, more money, and the Vikings weren't willing to cave. Yeah, I'm just bummed out. I'm bummed out that the Vikings weren't able to see that contract out because they signed him to a really good contract, I thought. And it's too bad when the salary cap gets in your way like this, because the Vikings, right? I mean, they've had this for years where they just don't have the capital to always keep some of these veterans.
Right.
And we'll talk about this in the next segment, Ron. I could see them. I think this is a little bit of a downgrade. I think it's a little bit of a downgrade losing Za'Darius. You've got Marcus Davenport, but he could very well flourish in Cleveland, who, by the way, Cleveland now has Dalvin Tomlinson and Za'Darius Smith on that defensive line.
Yeah, so he reworked the deal. Here's the reworked deal. Instead of his, he was going to get like $14.5 million. He's getting $11.75 million this year as part of the reworked deal. And then he'll get a chance to test free agency next year. So basically he got out of a year of his deal. He'll become a free agent after this year. When you look at Cleveland, so this is where the Cleveland side of this, he's going to join Myles Garrett, Anthony Walker Jr., Denzel Ward, Grant Delpit, two really good defensive backs, and Greg Newsome the second. In addition, he fills the void where Cleveland, of course, Jadeveon Clowney, and I made jokes about, the Vikings should look at Jadeveon Clowney, but I know he's gonna fill in that spot. They say for Minnesota, you're right, Sam. They gave up a 6th and a 7th round pick. They received a 24 and 2025 5th round. I wonder who the 2004 5th round picks were. I love to look back and see, like, I wish you can do, like, we're going to go back to 2004. We want that pick. Whoever that is right now, give it to them. But no, that was 20 years ago. Who knows who it is? But the 2024, 2025 5th round picks the Vikings get. The Vikings get rid of Za'Darius Smith with that. And like you said, yeah, they did that to balance out the trade. So they upgraded their 6th and 7th round picks to 5th round picks. Who knows what those could turn into? We'll take a look at, guys this year like Jay Ward and some of those picks. We're like, man, 5th round picks might not be all that bad, but you never know until you make the draft and you see what happens. When you look at the grades, and again, I always call this monopoly money with these grades. Right now, just one outlet, because I haven't gone through the rest, but they're giving the Browns an A+. An A+. Because they needed a roster bolster for pass rush. Just 34 quarterback takedowns in 2022. And then if you take sacks totals, the Browns average just 1 sack a game. So if you take away Garrett sacks, the rest of the team, 1 sack a game. So it was really a Garrett driven. So now he can't say meet me at the quarterback 2.0. So I don't know if now it's going to be because Za'Darius, like I've watched him now the last couple of years, Packers, now Vikings. He's going to create a persona there with, Myles Garrett. Now, who knows what it's going to be? It's going to be helmets off to the quarterback because we know Myles Garrett likes to hit quarterbacks in the head with his own helmet when it comes off. Shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who was that? Oh, Mason Rudolph was the quarterback when they got into a fight. But yeah, I don't know. It was meet me at the quarterback 2.0. I don't know. He better not say meet me at the quarterback 3.0 because that's corny. So we'll see. We'll see what his persona becomes with the Browns. But then the Vikings got a B, Sam. They said the Vikings got a B, which is not bad. Like a B, you're eligible to play sports. A B, you're a 3.0 student. So a B is not bad. They're saying for a player of Smith's caliber, and it's kind of like you. He said they thought they'd be able to get more. And so they agree with you, Sam, that this seems like two fifth round picks, like upgrading your 2 5th round picks and having to give up a 6th and 7th. They just thought you could have got more. But again, kind of like the Aaron Rodgers situation. Once a player puts it out there that they don't want to be there, or their agent leaks it to, Adam Schefter or whoever, your hands are tied because every team you call, they know. Like, he doesn't want to be there. So I'm not giving you a 4th or a 3rd. Like, he don't want to be there. Call me. Here's what we want to offer you. Let me know what everybody else wants to offer you. And I guarantee that's what's happened. They're saying, look, we'll give you 2 5ths. You give us your 6th and 7th. We'll take Za'Darius off your hands. You're going to pay $5 million of his salary. Let's call it quits. And then they walk away from the table, and then they go off and they check the other suitors and other people. And then they come back as a group and they say, well, look, do we want to trade them to the NFC like the Packers did? No, we don't. We don't want to have to play them. Where can we send them? All right, let's send them to Cleveland. We don't want to deal with that. And a lot of people always say Cleveland is where some careers go to die. Because they are a cursed franchise. I played for Ernest Biner was my coach. He was our running backs coach and our special teams coach when I was with the Baltimore Ravens. And I heard all the stories about the Ernest Biner issues. Also, the Baltimore Ravens, we were the Cleveland Browns. Like, our team, not me, I wasn't part of that move, but our owners, the Modells, left in the middle of the night and drove to Baltimore. Never told the people they were leaving. Just dipped. We're out of here. So when we went to play Cleveland as a Raven, Cleveland hates the Modells, literally hates them because they took their team away. And so I just feel like, and then Ernest Biner with the fumble in the playoffs, I just think their franchise is cursed. And so I'm not wishing that on Za'Darius. That's just if I'm a coach or a GM and I'm like, where can I trade him? I'm not trading him somewhere where I think he can flourish. I'm also not doing it on purpose, but I'm like, I'm trading him somewhere where I won't have to face him until maybe the Super Bowl. We know the Cleveland Browns are not going to the Super Bowl. So I don't know, Sam. What do you think? B and A plus? They said A plus, not just A plus for the Browns, and then a B for the Vikings.
Yeah, I think it's a great trade for the Browns. I mean, I'm not losing sleep. If I'm them, I'm not losing sleep over the picks at all. Right. If you get Za'Darius Smith, and it is only for 1 year for them, but the price is right. I mean, they're paying someone who is arguably a top 10 edge rusher last year.
True.
Way below market value. He might be healthier. Yep. I think it's worse than a B for the Vikings. However, presumably you've saved some money.
Yeah.
Like you're paying a little bit of the salary, but you've probably saved some money. Yep. Can you reinvest this in a veteran cornerback who's still on the market? Because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of older, like 28, 29, 30-year-old corners just sitting there. Like, can you use this money to either sign one of them, or can you use it to up that Danielle Hunter salary, make sure that extension gets done, so at least you don't lose Danielle, because that's still unresolved too, Ron.
Yeah, and this article doesn't actually say what the Vikings took on in salary. So just for the people out there that really listen, for the everydayers or the super hardcore capologists out there, I'm just guessing $5 million because that was his guaranteed base salary. And so in the $9.4 million base with a $5 million guarantee was what he was going to receive. And so that's why I just say my guess is that $5 million guarantee is like, well, look, we were going to have to pay that anyway if we cut him. So we'll take that on, and then you guys take him, and then, we rework his deal, which he looks like he's going to get an $11.75 million a year deal, part of his rework deal, but just 1 year deal. Like you said, he'll get to test free agency. So I'm just guessing $5 million seems like a nice number. If that 11.75, maybe the Vikings say, look, we'll take on the 5, you guys give him the rest. But that way we don't have to pay him the whole $14 million, which is kind of like Adam Thielen. I mean, that was similar numbers. Adam Thielen was guaranteed like 19 million or something there, somewhere in there or something. And we were all saying like, oh, maybe 9, maybe 10. And then of course we had Blake Barrett's on, and Blake said, we're not a $10 million decoy. We don't want to be a $11 million decoy. So I'm guessing, like, cause I remember that was the number I kept throwing out during our show the whole time with the whole Adam Thielen thing. So we were dead on. We were dead on with that number too. So I'm guessing Za'Darius is right around there. But again, we won't know. Like I always call it monopoly money. These draft grades, all that stuff. These are monopoly money. Like the Skip Bayless. I don't know if you just saw this, but I posted this on my Instagram. That's 3 Ron Johnson, by the way, people on Instagram. 3 Ron Johnson on Twitter, Instagram, so you can find me either way. 3 Ron Johnson, the number 3, and then Ron Johnson. I posted the Skip Bayless from a while ago when Baker Mayfield was drafted. I think it was after his first season. And again, I know some people say stuff just to be viral, like Reggie Wilson saying the Vikings are going to be 9-8. I feel like he said that just to go viral. But Skip Bayless said, mark my words. This is what he said, mark my words, which I love how people bring these things back when it's time to like rehash this out. Because LeBron is going to the Western Conference Finals. And so somebody posted, he said, Baker Mayfield will have a bigger impact on Cleveland than LeBron ever will. He will be a bigger star and will have a bigger impact than LeBron ever could. He's like, you mark my words. There's going to be a lot of talk of play in January and possibly February with Johnny Manziel and or I think it was Baker Mayfield or Johnny Manziel. I think it was Baker Mayfield and Josh Gordon. Okay.
Hot take.
So hot. It's cold. Like, I mean, it's like, what are you doing? And when I say so hot it's cold, people, if you ever have dry ice, it can burn you. And it burns your skin off, like if you touch it. But come on now. Skip, like, so that's why I say these pre-talks, when you see stuff happen, like when they saw Baker Mayfield with Josh Gordon. And again, Josh Gordon was legit. Like he ran into some issues off the field, blah, blah. But people always throw these draft grades out, always throw these comparisons out. Like when they were saying, I forgot the quarterbacks, Josh Rosen and somebody else would be better than Russell, or not Russell Wilson, but Cam Newton or something like that. I can't remember who it was, but it was like he threw out two quarterbacks that he thought would be better in the draft or something, like better than Josh Allen. It was like ridiculous though. And so when you think about all this, all these early takes, A+, we'll see. Za'Darius may never play for the Browns more than 3 games. Like his back might go out and he's done because he's older. and he's had the back issues. His back goes out. Is that an A+ anymore? No. The Vikings might take, and we'll talk about this in the next segment, the guys they got, but they might take those guys and go 12-5. Is that a B+? No, it's an A, because they got rid of that salary and they're still 12-5 and they're going to the playoffs and they're the NFC champs. Again, I don't know how Reggie thought 9-8 was going to get the NFC champs. I haven't done the math yet, but Friday, we're going to do some math. I can't wait to Friday because we're going to math this thing up. We're going to re-talk about our predictions, and we're just going to go through the schedule a little bit and talk about wins and losses and talk about the opponent, because my guess is it's the Lions. Nothing against the Bears. I'm sorry, Bears. We're going to do a little Lions-Packers on Friday. We're going to kind of walk through their schedule and give our predictions of what we think the Lions and the Packers are going to be. Maybe we'll do the whole NFC North just to not leave the Bears out because that's not fair. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then I also want to get Lauren Screening back on. I'm going to, because the Bears, she was in the Bears video. So I want to get her takes on it. I had a cameo on the Vikings. She had a cameo on the Bears. I haven't watched the Bears. I need to see because you told me Spice Adams was in it. So maybe I need to get Spice on too. First, I want to talk about my weekend in Iowa from a FanDuel perspective. So I got on, and that no sweat first bet, it worked. It unlocked. The minute I made my first $5 bet, I got a $150 little link. It literally popped up on the app. It said, hey, would you like to use $150? Sure. Why not?
Okay.
Well, who did I put that 150 on? And I cannot believe I did this. It's coming up though, Tuesday. I put it on the Nuggets, Sam. I put the entire 150 on the Nuggets to beat the Lakers to cover. I think it's 5.5. So I took the 5.5. I just feel like the Lakers are tired. They had to put a lot of energy just to beat the Warriors. It was like, oh, we got over the hump. I just feel like flying into Denver, short flight into Denver, I just feel like the Lakers may not have it. Like they may not have what they need to just, get Denver in that first game. So I just feel like that's the Lakers' MO as far as their age, being older. And Denver, the first game of every series has came out firing, and they're rested. They're rested. And the Lakers don't have any, like there's nobody that's going to poke a bear in Denver. Like Denver's not going to Dylan Brooks it. They're not going to Steph Curry it with the moments and the Draymond Greens. This is a team that just plays team basketball quietly. So I just don't know if the Lakers can find the energy in game one. So I took my no sweat first bet, Sam, and I put it on the Nuggets. I think it's 5.5. But I did have some other bets in there. I think I wagered like $30. I'm not going to ever bet anything where I'm like sitting back like, oh my God, I don't know if I'll get paid my mortgage this month. And people, I do see there's a link on there. If there are any gambling issues, the minute you log into the app, it says that if you have gambling issues, here's the number to call. Please don't wager your house on these games because it's too unpredictable. Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. I'll start there. They are supposed to be the favorite over the Seattle Kraken. They lost. It was like I think it was a 2-goal. They were minus 2 goals. So meaning they had to win by 2 goals or more. It was like 1.5, I think is what it was. So they had to win by 2 goals or more. So I bet on Edmonton. I'm like, they're the favorite. Come on now. We all know what happened to Edmonton. They lost to the Vegas. And I'm like, come on now. And then I think Vegas closed them out, right? Vegas is going to the Western Conference Finals.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah. That was the girl on my daughter's team is Ashby McInnes. And her dad, he and I were sitting out on the pickleball court, and he's like, "Oh yeah, man, take Edmonton. Like they're just hot." And then after the bet, after the game, the next morning, he's like, "Oh, I was wrong." And I'm like, "You think?" But it was $10, so it's not a big deal. I bet the $10. I got $150 unlocked, and then I put the money on the Lakers. My other one that was super ridiculously funny. It said LeBron would have a double-double and the Lakers would win. I'm like, oh, come on now. Closeout game? This is LeBron. This dude, because they blew him out. Now, Steph Curry could have helped me out, made it a closer game. Andrew Wiggins, I apologize to, and I have a testimony on Tuesday. I got to apologize to Andrew Wiggins. I did not realize he was hurt, his ribs. Somebody said ribs, and I thought it was Anthony Davis, so I didn't go with Anthony Davis. And that dude had 20 rebounds. So I got some misinformation there. That's why. Don't ever listen to people. Do your own research before you make your bets too, people, if you're really serious about this. LeBron had 9 rebounds, 9 assists. All you had to do is get either one more assist or just throw the ball out the backboard to yourself and get it back. Do like Dennis Rodman used to do for his triple-doubles or double-doubles. So 1 rebound short of a LeBron double-double and the Lakers win to cash in. I think it was like plus like $420. So $10 bets, if my math is right, gets me like $42. So yeah, but I had fun though. It was fun. It was fun to watch the games like down to the minute. I'm looking at the box score. So it does. I'm not going to lie. FanDuel does make every moment more. It changes the way you look at your bets. But it's not a FanDuel day right now. We got it out the way. This is not a Lakers day. This is not a Seattle Kraken day because their time's coming. I think I did put a bet on the Dallas Stars. Is there Series 3-2?
Game 7 is coming up. Is it tonight?
Because I bet on it. I bet on the Stars to close out. So okay. So I do have one more $10 bet for the Stars to win Game 7. And I don't know, Sam. I know I can change my slip because your bet slips, people. They're not locked in stone. You can go back in. You can edit them if you need to. If you need to add to parlays, remove from parlays. So I'm asking you, Sam, before we jump into this Za'Darius Smith talk, who's going to win, Seattle Kraken or the Dallas Stars?
The Kraken have defied logic the whole postseason. I mean, they are not as good a team as Dallas, but you know what? They also weren't as good a team as Colorado, and they beat Colorado, the defending champs, in 7 games. They've just got whatever it takes to win in the postseason. They have it. Like, they have that mentality. They have that tenacity. I do suspect, Ron, I think you're on the right side of this, though. I think that eventually they'll come back to earth. I think that Dallas's talent will win out in this game, and I think their goaltending is better.
Got it.
So I would be on Dallas's side of this. Do you have it now? Do you have it money line? Do you have it 1.5? What's your bet?
I took, so let me go to my bet slip. I took Dallas Stars 1.5.
Okay.
I don't know if that's
so yeah, winning by 2 is a little more challenging, but you get better odds that way. So
correct.
I'm guessing your
plus
odds
118.
Plus 118. So yeah, you're making a little more money with that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because the other option within the slip, and I'm still looking at it, I can mess around with it, but the other option within my slip was just the straight money line, Dallas Stars minus 210. So your odds are good there. And for a $10 bet, I'm like, you know what? Let me just hope the Dallas Stars can get out there and put 2 goals in there and win by 2. And then I get my money. Over under also was 5.5 goals. And I don't know if that one was worth taking or not. That's more of a Sam Ekstrom comment.
That's been that series has been wide open, like tons of goals in that series. Now, Game 7, maybe it tightens up a little bit. Everybody's kind of diving in front of pucks maybe a little bit more,
right?
Keeping the puck out. But there have been like 8-9 goal games in that series.
Yeah, because Dallas Stars are the favorites. You got minus 210 for Dallas Stars or plus 172 for Seattle. I just took Dallas because they looked really good against the Wild, and I'm like, you know what? They are the former Minnesota team, and maybe they're cursed. Maybe because being a former Minnesota team, this is about to be their time. We finally get back in Seattle, an expansion franchise, as well as the Vegas expansion franchises, make it to the Western Conference Finals. But I hope Dallas wins because that would be fun. Also, people know that the app is super easy to use. You can unlock it with your face after you log in. So there's a lot of easy. You don't have to remember your password. Like, I got to keep logging. You don't have to remember your password. Use your face. Very simple to use app. Also, I want you to remember, you can get on Amazon Fire or Roku and get the Locked On Sports Minnesota app, which will give you the Ron Johnson Show. It'll give you our Friday roundtable. You can see all the videos, all the shows, all the interviews with some NFL players, NBA analysts, NHL players. They're all on there. Nate Prosser, you name it. We've done it. Adam Thielen, even way back when. And then, of course, Blake Berens. I keep saying that was a great interview. For those that haven't seen it yet, great interview with Blake Berens. Like, he was opened up a vein and was very honest about the NFL and the workings within it and the things he deals with as an agent, and then his athlete Adam Thielen and what he went through to sign to go to the Carolina Panthers. Check that out. But before we before we jump into the breaking down of this Vikings roster currently after the moves, we have a word from our sponsors.
Today we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. That's Ron Johnson's favorite app. He made a fast break to the NBA playoffs because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 back in bonus bets, or the promotion Bet 5, get 150. Ron used that. It worked great, and he's letting it ride on the Nuggets on Tuesday. It's a safe and secure, very easy-to-use app. You get paid instantly when you win, and there's no better place to bet the playoff action than at America's #1 sportsbook. You can sweat along with Ron Johnson. Game 7, Kraken and Stars tonight. He's got Dallas's puck line minus 1.5. FanDuel.com/locked-on for you to learn more. You can claim that no sweat first bet if you're a new customer, up to $1,000 back. That's FanDuel.com/locked-on. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA.
We're now on this Mission Monday. Our mission, Sam, it's beautiful Mission Monday and also Mission Fast Pitch. They won. They end up winning the championship. That's why my voice is a little raspy. People, sorry for those like wondering, like, man, what's going on around his voice? I was yelling and screaming at a bunch of plays. My daughter, again, first tournament, out of town, batting left-handed after 3 months. So she's working through some of the struggles of just completely switching from left to right. But she's doing a great job, laid down some great bunts, had some good hits with her speed, beat out the throws. She did strike out for the first time in a long time. But again, these were elite. I'm talking about this is a 12-year-old girl we faced in Iowa that was pitching 59 miles an hour. 59 miles an hour for a 12-year-old girl is ridiculous. She's throwing it from 40 feet. So great game. So I was screaming and yelling because one of our games at the end, we won 1-0. 1-0. That was to go to the I think that was to go to the championship or the game before the championship, but 1-0. And the way we won was absolutely like it just made me scream. Like I lost my voice. It was the game before it was our last pool play game to make sure we solidified third place. But yeah, the bases were loaded. We're up 1-0, bases loaded. And we got out of it. I don't know how. I forgot how we got out of it, but I remember. All I remember is bases loaded, 1 out. I think we got or bases loaded, no outs. I think we threw one of the girls out or something happened where a girl got out. She got tagged or something. She's out. No. Sorry. Ground ball. Our girl throws it home, tags the girl out at home. So now, and the other girl was out. And so now 1 out, bases loaded. Next girl strikes out. Now this is where it gets crazy. Next girl strikes out because, and it was only the second out. And this is a softball, baseball rule too. Because first base was occupied, we don't have to throw. It was a drop third strike. We don't have to throw it down to first because first base occupied, batter's out. Where our catcher just throws it to first because, again, mental error. Well, their girl left first base because of a mental error. She just was in the middle standing there because it was a strikeout and she was confused of what was going to happen next. Our girl chases her down. The other girl from second starts running a third. Our first baseman throws it to third. Tagger, game over. It was a crazy sequence. Like we just knew like they're going to score at least 1 run. We're going to have to go into extra innings. And we ended it 1-0. We ended up going to being a 3rd seed. We won our next game. We beat the number 2 seed. And then we ended up winning the championship game 4-0 because our girls just came alive. And the best quote of the weekend was the coach. He didn't say it to the parents. He was kind of saying it to the girls, but parents are kind of listening. Mm-hmm. He like yelled out after a catch. My daughter was in right field. She ran probably halfway across right to center, basically like center field, but like by like second base, like between the second base and second baseman. She kind of ran up and caught it at the edge of the grass. Great catch, running full speed. She even said like, I didn't have time to catch it with 2 hands because I was running too fast. And so she reached out, caught it like on the way down for an out. If that drops, the girl probably, gets a double maybe, or who knows what. But she makes the catch. 2 other big hits to the outfield. Our center fielder makes 2 good catches. As they're running off the field, their coach yells like, I think we have the best outfield in the Midwest. And all the parents were laughing, but we're like, we might. Like, we have 3 of the best, fastest girls playing in the outfield, which is rare in 12U softball because usually the outfield girls get hitting out there. Like, you put your best players in the infield, especially shortstop, second base, third base, and then your pitcher, catcher. But then outfield, it's like, oh, maybe our right and left field, we'll just put some girls out there. The way these girls hit the ball at 12, you can't do it. You're going to have a bunch. I watched some games where the outfielders weren't great, and fly balls were going right over right field, left field's head. Our girls didn't happen. So that's why we won 1-0. We won 5-4. We won 6-4. And then we won the championship 4-0. That was the only game that wasn't exciting, was the championship. And of course, some of the girls and my daughter, she's like, that wasn't even fun. Like 4-0. We're like, that was good for the parents. Like we were sick and tired of close games. But that's why my voice sounds like there's people yelling, screaming, whatever. But Sam, on this Mission Monday, Sam, we need to figure out, the mission is this Vikings defense going to be better? Is it going to be worse? And were the pieces that swapped, what's the outcome of this? And so, Sam, I'll start with you. You kind of take me there. You were going there with the pieces you thought. So take over.
Yeah. All right. Let's go defensive line, linebackers, and then secondary. We'll break it down into 3 groups. Okay. So last year's starting defensive line, and let's include the edge guys in this. So we've got Za'Darius and Danielle Hunter on the edge, and last year it was Dalvin Tomlinson, Harrison Phillips, and Jonathan Bullard. That was your defensive line last year. Now, This year, you swap out Dalvin Tomlinson, you add Dean Lowry. You swap out Za'Darius Smith now, you've got Marcus Davenport. Those are the two main changes. I think Phillips is still there, Bullard is still there, Danielle Hunter for now is still there. So 2 big swaps there, Ron. Do you think the Vikings came out even, ahead, or behind in those switches?
So, okay.
So Lowry, Tomlinson for Lowry.
Yep.
Za'Darius for Davenport.
So for those 2, Za'Darius for Davenport, I'm going to go. So Za'Darius for Davenport, that's a tough one. I'm going to go no. They didn't come out ahead on that one. But we don't know enough yet. Za'Darius is a pro, like you said, he's a Pro Bowl caliber DN. I don't think they came out. Now, the Lowry piece, I feel like, so one, Tomlinson wasn't always available. The best availability, or sorry, the best ability is availability. That's what my coaches always told me. The best ability is availability. Dalvin Tomlinson wasn't always available. If Dean Lowry gives you 17 games, I think it's better. Because I think you'll get enough pass rush. And again, this is not a guy. So Tomlinson too was limited in his ability. He was a nose guard, pretty much. Nose tackle, nose tackle. He was rarely a 3 technique or 5. Dean Lowry gives you the ability to flex. Like, he can play in the 5, which is outside the tight end or tackle. He can play in the 3, which is over the guards. So, and he also can play, at over 300 pounds, if you need him to play over the nose, he can do that as well. But I think for Brian Flores, it's about attack angles. How do I get after the quarterback more because I'm going to play man? Not allowing it to just be a 4-on-5 blockers with 4 rushers. Like, I think he's really going to find ways to get after this quarterback, like he did with the Miami Dolphins, because when you create chaos, there's going to be plays in games anyway. So if I'm going to lose a battle or lose a situation, I'm going to just shoot bullets at everything. And I think that's what it is. So in that instance, no, I don't think, I think they came out on one. And I think it'll be just fine with the Dalvin Tomlinson versus Lowry. I think the Za'Darius, it will be a little bit of a downgrade, but I don't think by much. I don't know, Sam. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Za'Darius was really just he was a workhorse. He was always out there, hurt or not. Davenport, if you look at his snap counts, he's rarely played more than 500, 600 snaps. He's kind of a late down pass rusher. I don't know if he's a 3-down guy. They might try to make him one. Lowry, Maybe. You're right. Lowry is more of a true pass rusher, I think, than Dalvin Tomlinson. So if you get 5 sacks out of that spot, that would be much needed. Probably not quite as effective against the run, but I like that. I like what he offers. It's something different than Tomlinson, certainly.
Correct.
And you do need pass rushers if you lose Za'Darius. So I like that one, but I'm with you. Losing Za'Darius is a downgrade. So I think altogether it's a little bit of a minus for Minnesota.
And what's the next one? I know we
have
one more.
So linebackers, interior linebackers. You go from Kendricks and Hicks to Asamoah and Hicks. Obviously, losing Kendricks hurts, but what do you think about Asamoah's potential there?
I think Asamoah can be a huge asset. One, he's a great special teams guy. He has the speed. But it is going to be a downgrade. Eric Kendricks, you can't replace, and Eric Kendricks is not just about on the field, it's off the field, it's the personality, it's being here the longest, so knowing everything. Now, kind of your last standing guy on that defense is Harrison Smith. And Danielle Hunter's there, but he wasn't like one of the originals with Harrison Smith, Anthony Barr, and Eric Kendricks. And so Eric Kendricks is kind of the last, or he was, sorry, and now Harrison Smith is it. So in that interior 7, the whole like face of the Vikings defense is changing. So I think you do lose a lot there. So I don't know if you ever can replace that. I think you can find ways to create a new, like you have to start over. And again, this is my 9th year of doing Vikings Game Day Live. So I've seen a lot of changes. It's just like, but I've been there this whole time with all these guys, Adam Thielen, Eric Kendrick, Anthony Barr. So it's tough sometimes to even like start to formulate, okay, where can they go with this? But again, it's the Brian Flores show, so I'm excited to see that. But no, I think you lose that with Eric Kendricks when you lose Eric Kendricks.
Yeah, I think you lose so much mentally with Kendricks. Kendricks was just so savvy. He could, read offenses like that. Whereas Asamoah might actually bring a lot to the table physically. He just isn't quite as seasoned as Eric Kendricks, recognizing, diagnosing what he's seeing on the field. Asamoah, I think, could he's just shot out of a cannon, man. I mean, he could make a lot of plays. He just isn't going to galvanize the defense quite the same way that Kendricks could. So last position here. Safeties are the same, Harrison Smith and Cam Bynum, so you don't need to address that. But cornerback, completely revamped. We go from Patrick Peterson, Chandon Sullivan, and Cam Dantzler as your starters to, and I don't even know who to say really, but Byron Murphy, Andrew Booth Jr., and a Caleb Evans, we'll say, as your new projected starting three. What do you think about that exchange?
And I throw the rookie in there too from USC. I think he's going to get some burn somewhere in there, whether it's coming in as a third DB, pushing Byron Murphy into the slot because we know he can play nickel. For the simple fact of injury, age, lack of production, 32 ranked, 31st ranked defense, I'm going to go the defense has gotten better because they're younger. I think Byron Murphy has proven he can play. I think, again, Mekhi, the kid from USC, Blackman, who knows? We'll see what he's going to be. But I think of Caleb Evans when healthy, and that's the reason. When healthy, he was really good. 6'4", long. I said this. When he's beat, he's not beat. If you have him by a yard, you don't have him because his arms are so long and he can bat those balls down, which he showed. He's not afraid to come up and make tackles. Andrew Booth was really good in college. It was injury-ridden. So people bought that up before the draft. He got into the Vikings and got hurt again. Hopefully he can come out healthy, but who knows? But I do truly believe they got better there. I think they got better with the defensive backs, but we will see. But I think the thing, and this is what makes the defensive backs better. I think Brian Flores' defense, like Brian Flores being there, I think it's going to change the mentality of these DBs as well. So that's why I'm going to give the edge to the new guys are better there.
You've lost so much star power across this defense in Tomlinson, Za'Darius, Kendricks, and Peterson. And for whatever reason, Ron, I feel like they're going to be better just because of Flores, just because of some of the youth, and they're not going to be as flashy with the name recognition, but having some youth injected into this defense, it's kind of a long time coming. It's been a while since the Vikings had a reset like this. And Harrison Smith said this a couple weeks ago. It's not like you're filling these spots with just empty space. Like there's a person there that's taking these places, and they want to succeed too, and they want to thrive in their newfound role. So I think that, whether it's Evans or Booth or Blackman, clearly whoever's in those spots are going to have to earn it. They're going to have to win a competition. And I think that they could bring something new to the table because last year's secondary was atrocious. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of room to improve, and they very well could.
Well, and speaking of improving on your sports, SiriusXM, that's an easy way. You can always listen. I love driving to Iowa, being able to listen to every sport I wanted. I can listen to the basketball game while I'm in the car because it doesn't matter. It goes with you. You can have it on your phone or in your car as low as $3.99 a month. The Twins play the Dodgers tonight at 9:10 Central. After a good homestand, the Twins head to the West Coast to try and stay hot. You can catch every pitch of the Twins' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Twins, and it'll be right there for you to consume and listen. Well, Sam, we got about 4 or 5 minutes left. I'm going to speed through this Daily 3 today. It's going to be a Jay-Z one-shot take, 1 minute. It's going to be 3 questions, 1 minute each, Sam. Take it away.
Beautiful. Lakers, Nuggets, Heat, Celtics. Those are the 2 conference finals in the NBA. Can either underdog, the Lakers or the Heat, continue their magical run through the postseason?
I think so. The Celtics have proved that they're beatable. Jimmy Butler brings something to the table that not a lot of teams have, which is absolute dog. He has that dog in him. And so I think there's nothing Jimmy Butler right now can't do because he sees the finish line. He sees it. It's right there. Like sometimes when you're in a race, you can't see the finish line and you get tired. Now Jimmy Butler can see it. Like when they were in all these series, they're like, I don't know if we're going to make it. They made it now. Now you're 1 game away. You can see it. And so for the Lakers, I think so. Anthony Davis, LeBron, Roy Hishimura, and then D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves. Those guys are playing great. And Anthony Davis does something that a lot of the bigs can't do, which is play stretch with Jokic. And he's comfortable out there with Jokic. So this is going to be a great series because these are two bigs that can shoot, but also have good footwork and post. Now, Jokic is bigger. He's stronger. But whenever they want to bully him, they can put LeBron in. So, yes, I think both can do it.
All right, second question. I know you're a softball guy. Gophers softball has advanced to their 10th consecutive NCAA tournament appearance. They go to the Seattle Regional, and they take on McNeese on Friday. Your thoughts on the Gophers softball team advancing to the big dance? Well,
my daughter's softball tournament starts Friday as well, and we'll be playing in Bloomington, Minnesota. We play 2 games on Friday night, so I'm going to try to catch both. But yeah, we're big-time Gophers softball supporters. I'm excited to see this one. Autumn Peace is the Big Ten Pitcher of the Year. She is the best pitcher in the Big Ten. That was the huge reason why the Gophers' success this year. They added a lot of pieces. They added some outfielders because the girls they lost. And then Nally didn't heart tag because of COVID, was able to come back, which was their big hitter last year. She's leading off this year. So, yes, I'm very excited for this. The big thing now is just getting over the hump. They've made it here. They just can't ever finish. I think this is a year because softball is about pitch dominant girls, pitch dominant teams. And the Gophers have a really good pitcher right now. Their backups are doing pretty well. But I think Autumn Peace, the best thing about softball compared to baseball is a pitcher can pitch the entire tournament. There is no pitch count because it's an underhand throw. It doesn't affect your elbow. So she's going to go as long as she can go. So it'll be interesting to see how the Gophers handle the rotation, knowing that maybe if they have a handle on some of these games, she doesn't have to play. But softball it's a game in inches. Like it can be 1-0, it could be 6-5, or it could be 20-0. You just never know what you're going to get out of your bats. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yep. I know there was some question whether they'd get in or not, and they did. So that starts on Friday.
And they should have. I mean, they dominated the Big Ten, so they should have. They were the 3rd seed in the Big Ten tournament. That would have been a travesty if they weren't.
All right, Ron, you've talked about Ja Morant on this show in the past, and he's in the news once again. He's been suspended from all team activities after, again, he flashed a gun in an Instagram Live video. So, Ron, what needs to happen next with Ja Morant?
He needs friends. Now, his one friend I did see tried to change, as soon as Ja pulled the gun out, he tried to turn the camera like, oh man, dude, what are you doing? So his friends do know. Here's the problem. You have a $200 million contract. You have a shoe. You have your own shoe with Nike. Nike is not going to continue to let you sell their shoes with guns. It's just not going to work. Now, this is why I don't like the double standard, though, because all these politicians and everybody else talking about right to bear arms, they want to post pictures with their AR-15s and all this stuff. You're not going to take my guns away. But then the minute a young black kid does it, it's a bad thing. Now, one, he is a role model. He's driving the car. Why are you pulling out a gun, listening, singing, acting crazy when the gun should be tucked or should be in the glove compartment? You shouldn't just have a gun out driving like that, waving it. It just doesn't make sense. So I don't know if it's stress because he's mentioned that. I don't know if he's just trying to be somebody he's not. The whole 8 Mile joke of Clarence parents had a real good marriage. If you haven't seen 8 Mile, and I know, Sam, you haven't, but it was a rapper that was trying to be hard and be tough and be a gang member, and he wasn't. He went to a private school. His parents had a really good marriage. He came from a really good household. Stop trying to be who you're not. Guys that are on the streets and I'm from Detroit. Guys that live on the streets and have to do this stuff, sell drugs, whatever, just to make ends meet, just to try to, they don't have to, but that's the route they take, which is a horrible route. Those guys pray to have a stability, have a stable household, have stability when they go home. Ja has that, and he's throwing it all away. Because people are like, oh, why is it bad? Everybody else gets to carry guns. It's not the fact that he's carrying a gun. It's just how he's doing it. It's very irresponsible. He's in a strip club with it while the team's on the road. So you can't travel with a gun. So whose gun is that? Your friend just showed up to Denver with a gun and you're going to carry it? So come on now. A and B doesn't always equal C, but C comes next. And see where you're not if you keep doing this. You're not going to be there. And 2 + 2 always equals 4. Stop trying to make it 5 because people keep trying to add stuff to, oh, well, what if this and what if this was an AR-15? No, you can't do it. You're the face of the NBA. They don't want that. Yes, protect yourself. Yes, you're a millionaire. You should be able to have a gun. But why are you flashing on Instagram Live? Why are you constantly trying to be this guy that you're not? Like, stop doing that. And I think that's the problem. It's not about the gun. It's about how he's carrying it. But that's just my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well said, Ron. Well said.
Well, that'll do it for us today on the Ron Johnson Show. I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Ekstrom. We want to thank you guys for continuing to like, share, download, comment. And remember, subscribe. Go to YouTube. Get an email address. You already have it. Just go in, sign into YouTube, and then hit that follow button on YouTube. Also, wherever you get your podcast, iTunes, iHeartMedia app, Sirius XM, Spotify. Because again, you can find Locked On the Sirius XM app. If you have a Sirius XM in your car, you can now listen to us in your car just by having the app, and you can just stream it through your car. You can Bluetooth your phone with your Sirius XM app through your car, and now you can ride down the road in the morning, listen to me and Sam break down all the Minnesota sports you want to hear, and some national news, of course, as well. But I'm Ron Johnson and Sam Ekstrom. Thank you guys for joining us. Have a great day.